Hey, what's up guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you will not regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back. I appreciate the support. Guys, I'm going to talk a little bit today about something that happened to me yesterday. And I thought it sparked me to do this video. Yesterday, I was in Louisiana on business. And while I was there, I was walking into a building, and surprisingly, it was I guess he's around my age, mid 40s, early 50s. It was a police officer walking up, and me and him made eye contact as he was opening the door for me. So I said, thank you. And I walked in and he said, wait a minute, hold on. So I'm saying in my head, like, oh God, here we go. What's going on? I'm just thinking like, and I happened to turn back and he looked and he stared at me for about a good second. And guys, he recognized me from videos I've done. And that was a strange occurrence, because I'm in Louisiana. I live in Houston. I'm in Louisiana. And to see somebody that watches your material recognize you, it's one of those things that's weird. I'll probably never get over it. But me and the man spoke for about 10 minutes. And he said he liked what I was doing with the Tyree Nichols situation and talking about police reform and stuff like that. And he admitted that there is police reform that needs to be done, as well as prison reform, stuff in the social service issue, industry, with children. And we spoke a lot about a lot of topics. But one thing he said, a lot of times what I say, a lot of people can take it the wrong way. And he wanted to show me or give me examples of looking through a different lens of why police officers are needed. And not all of them are crazy and all this other stuff, which I agreed with him. But in this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. And he said something that really stuck with me. He said a lot of times policing will make somebody crazy or make somebody psychopathic. And I believe that. I also believe, and me and him went back and forth, he said it was 1% of officers nationally that are bad apples. I disagree with that. And I'm going to say it's more around between 10 and 15% of officers are psychopaths. It may be more, but you'll get a lot of people saying, hey, only 1% of officers are this and that. Listen, I'm not going to vilify a whole, police force over what some people do. But it is a situation where with police officers, you do see an exhibition of abuse of power, sometimes false judgment, prejudgment, prejudice, and also an air of superiority. So we're going to get that out the blue, out in the open right now. But there's a couple of things I want to talk about when it deals with police. And this is not in defense of police, but it's something for us to consider looking through a different lens when police come up on us, and things that we can do to make the exchange or the interaction a little bit more better. First thing is this. I want to talk from the standpoint of what that job entails and why I couldn't be a cop. And some of you people out there might think the same way after hearing this. The first thing is this. A police officer's job, they're subjected to, prolonged exposure to stress. And I liken it almost to, and I don't know, some people will understand when I say this, to a warlike situation. You're considered the enemy to somebody at any given time. When you're walking up to a hostile environment where you are called, or it's hysteria and stuff like that, and you have to maintain composure and establish order, it's a very stressful environment. Another thing that comes with that stressful environment is you don't know if you're going to walk out of there or not. And like I said, if I was a police officer, my main objective is going home at night. After dealing with this stuff 10, 12 hours, I don't know how long they work per shift, and dealing with stuff that you can't even speak about sometimes, is stuff that is unspeakable. Another thing is this, and this is a big thing with me. A lot of stuff they see cannot be unseen. I just did the story about police officers that came across the situation in Florida where the guy stabbed his girlfriend over 100 times. And then they had a manhunt and then police came across the missing child, 2 years old, in the mouth of an alligator. And it said police officers shot the alligator and they dropped the baby. The alligator dropped the baby and ran off. You can't unsee that, guys. Seriously, you can't. It has to be some type of counseling for stuff like that. Or you go into, things that bother me, attacks on the elderly, crimes against children, innocent people getting hurt in car accidents where, people are messed up and stuff. Police officers come across all this. And regardless if it's a bad cop or a good cop, it does something to you psychologically. You know what I mean? We have to really think about this, guys. And I think, honestly, another thing, PTSD is running wild in police forces. And a lot of people don't get the counseling and don't have they have this, men had this bravado where I'm okay, I'll get over it. You don't get over it if it's in your subconscious. Because like I said before, earlier in videos, I said, a lot of times when you see these police stops or a police officer comes up to you, you don't know what's going through his head or the scenario he's putting you in, but you are being put in the scenario because what? As human beings, we interact and we react to a lot of positive or negative interactions we had in the past, and we attribute that or equate that to what we're going through right now. And that's the truth. Another thing, jail and prison is crazy. I've been there. I know. And one of the things I noticed about jail is a lot of times inmates and prisoners are very manipulative. They're also predators a lot of times. And I'm not saying sexual. I'm saying like people will prey on other people. But I think that's just standard human nature. That's why America does well, because it's a capitalization, you know what I'm saying, nation. And we are all a part of this nation to where we capitalize off of what? Either the weakness, disadvantage, or the some type of misfortune of somebody else. That's why, like, a lot of people say, oh, the rich get, a bad rep because they make themselves rich out the poor. But I'm gonna tell you something about that. There cannot be rich people unless there are poor people. The poor people spend the money and the rich people consume it by offering a product. And that's the thing. In life, you're the producer or consumer. Now, everybody that produces is not a rich person. I'm proof of that. But you got to understand something. With, these people that are out here that prey upon other people, whether it's violent or not violent, non-violent, or people that do scams and stuff like this, police officers have to intersect these people. And you don't think a lot of that stuff that those deal with, doing this day in and day out, just arresting bad people and running up on people that are bad or negative to society, it won't make something in their head flip? Honestly, we got to think about that. Another thing, and this is a big thing, guys, being in the military myself, I think a lot of these police officers nowadays, because you got to remember, crime is changing. Crime has always been around, but it's evolving to where it's getting more, people are getting more empowered and embracing in what they're doing, shooting in broad daylight, grabbing hostages, doing crazy stuff. Officers that are on the force for a while, they see this progression of dumb shit. They see the progression of criminality, which way the world's going. It has to play some type of psychological effect on your psyche. And a lot of times nowadays, a lot of cops that are hired are people that are what? Ex-military. You'll see it in other videos when people talk about when they got out the military, they didn't have anything to do, so they became a police officer. If you have a job as infantry, sometimes special forces, any of those jobs where you have to deal with frontline combat or just a lot of firefights and all of that stuff, when you get out, what job out here besides being a paid mercenary is there where you can wield a gun and go out in the public and fight for the freedom and make a difference on the good side of the spectrum? like you were supposedly doing in the military. A lot of people become police officers. That's a lot of times just not, it's nothing else they can do. Another thing is this, and guys, I want you to think seriously about this. The excitement, the adrenaline, the rush of being in combat and sometimes in conflict, in war, a lot of people sometimes miss that. And being a police officer is one of the top professions where you can experience adrenaline, you can chase, you can run, you can do all this stuff that you've been trained in the military and other places to do legally and still do it and feel as though you're still important, you're still part of something big. Police officers, they have a certain type of confidence. A lot of them nowadays are ex-military. That's why you're starting to see a lot of these military type vehicles and stuff, because a lot of input come from ex-military people that are what? Police officer or police officer brass. And it also is what? A brotherhood. When a police officer gets hurt, they have ceremonies. They wear the white gloves. They have the best blues on. They salute. They carry caskets. They play bagpipes. It's historical. It's almost like the military itself. And you're a part of something bigger than what? Yourself or what you're told. And it's like, this is something that really needs to be talked about. Like I said, it's more than 1%. Sometimes these officers go through transitions. I had an officer that just joined the force back in the late 90s, right? I don't want to say his name, but he lived next door to my mother. I would go see all the time. This guy was about 3 years older than me at the time. This guy was married, had a house, wife, everything. In 3 years of being on the force, he kept saying, I want to quit, I want to quit, I want to quit. This guy wound up getting a divorce, had 2 children, developed a drinking problem, all due to the stress of the work. And I said to him one time, hey man, why you don't get no counseling or something? It's out there. Because whether you guys realize it or not, me talking about how stressful a police officer is, the job and all this stuff, they know it too. The city doesn't want lawsuits, so they offer help to these officers. A lot of times they're so macho, they feel as though they don't need counseling. They don't need to admit that they're a problem, because as men, we're not supposed to cry. We're not supposed to look weak and all this other stuff. And I think that's a big thing. I think the biggest thing is they won't seek help and counseling. They won't admit something's wrong with them. They're ex-military and have this bravado with them, and they bust each other's balls. Men, that's what we do. And they don't want to look weak in front of their peers. And I think this is the main reason a lot of this stuff happens. And I'm just being honest. I'm not defending the bad cops, but I mean, honestly, people, you hear a lot of younger folks, oh, we need to defund the police. We need to do this. We need to do that. Okay. You defund the police, they're still going to ride in cars because they have to get to these emergencies. So the defunding doesn't mean anything with that. They're still going to have guns on them. Another thing is this. When they say defund the police, a lot of people thinking defund the police mean lower the ranks of the police officers to where it's not a lot of them because there's too many cops. Okay. When somebody break up in your house, some home invaders with guns and stuff like that, who's supposed to stop them? You? A lot of people say, hey, we need to police our own neighborhoods. Most of us can't police our damn selves. Let's be honest here. We're in communities right now where we don't police them. You talking about we got to police up, we can do this. Everybody says what they can do until it's time to do it, and it don't get done. Because things are what? Easier said than done, guys. And I just want to take the time out. Another thing, and I want to say this in the end, in closing. I think, that's my opinion, as the times go by, the education levels are getting lower and lower, right? The educational requirements to get out of school and stuff like that. The technology age, where people can just sit on the phone all day and stop reading books and stop educating themselves and, relaxing themselves by reading, and the psychological positive effect reading has on the mind and stuff. People don't read no more. We watch a lot of video. We look at a lot of crazy stuff. I think because of that, they have lowered the psychological evaluation requirements, due to lack of police. And I'm that's just me. I didn't hear it anywhere. Just think about it though. It's like, man, some of these people you'll see in the uniform couldn't even make a water boy for a football team. Some of them are out of shape, fat, bad built, and they a cop, and they come and settle a dispute. A lot of times it's this too. If you're an older person and you've been married for like 10 or 12 years and you get called for a disturbance, and a cop come 21 years old, he come in your house and tell you to shut up or tell you to get out your house, it's hard to take. Hard to take. Anyway, guys, leave me a comment, man. Tell me what you think about the video. Did I make some good points? I probably missed some points, and I'm not asking you all to agree with me. And I'm not taking up for the police force or anything like that, but I'm just trying to look through a different lens and come to some type of, understanding of why police are the way they are nowadays and how everybody's affected by that and what the good cops can do to separate themselves from the bad cops. And one of the things I think is community policing. You need to get back in the community and really get to know these people that who I don't want to say it's a beat that they walk, because they don't walk beats no more. But I think each officer needs to go in the community and get to know certain people, whether it's store owners or you got to know the people that you're around, because character means something when you're making a judgment call. That's just me. I'm Stock Market Steve. I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. You guys be good.